For Africa, I came to the conclusion that France was the biggest risk to peace and security and overall African development, particularly in West Africa.
Mindful that the West or the investors just don't invest simply for the sake of the love for the country. They invest because they're getting something out of it.
So Ghana signed a partnership with France. Yes, you have me right. Ghana signed a bilateral partnership with France. Ghana could not have said no. The deal was so good for Ghana because France promised them, if you sign this deal, we are going to give you a debt release. We are going
Welcome to AfriPlus News Channel, where we uncover what others hide and say what others fear. If you're passionate about truth, independence, and the future of Africa, then you've found the right platform. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this content widely. Your support helps us stay independent, consistent, and unfiltered. Today, we break down a controversial yet strategic development. Ghana has signed a bilateral debt restructuring deal with France, worth approximately US $5.4 billion. France claims this is in Ghana's best interest. But is that really true? Or is this just a new method for France to re-enter the African space it was recently forced out of? Ghana has agreed to restructure US $5.4 billion of its official debt with creditors including France. The French government claims this is Ghana's best opportunity, framing themselves as the first nation to offer Ghana such a package. But why is France so eager to appear as Ghana's savior now? Why wasn't this deal offered when Ghana's economy was spiraling during the height of its inflation crisis? Why now, after France has been pushed out of Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and the Central African Republic? Could this be less about helping Ghana and more about repositioning France in West Africa? Let us know what you think in the comments. France has faced unprecedented resistance across the Sahel region. Their military bases have been shut down, embassies protested, and economic agreements nullified. After centuries of dominance, France is no longer welcome in several of its former colonies. Now it appears France is crafting a new, less confrontational path back into the continent. Economic relief, strategic diplomacy, and financial partnerships with nations that still appear open. Is Ghana being positioned as France's fallback point in Africa? Are we watching France rebuild its influence through financial channels because the military and political ones have failed? It's important to consider this. France itself is grappling with a deepening economic crisis. As of 2024, France's national debt exceeds US $3 trillion, and its fiscal deficit has become a subject of political turmoil within the European Union. In such conditions, why would a heavily indebted nation prioritize helping another debtor country like Ghana? Is France truly interested in Ghana's well-being, or is it using Ghana to protect its own credibility on the international stage?
Mindful that the West or the investors just don't invest simply for the sake of the love for the country. They invest because they're getting something out of it. And I always make example to my community when I go there. Say, back in the days, all of a sudden you say, oh, Ghana received 1,000 tractors. Free. There's nothing free. We go out there and we cut tapes and do fanfare. But for the next 50 years, we're buying parts from the country that donated the buses. And we're creating employment for them, while we are here just consuming. So these are some of the things we have to look at. And I bring enough experience and expertise in that direction to support my minister. Thank you.
And more importantly, can a nation drowning in debt truly be trusted to honor its own end of a financial rescue deal? Or is this just diplomatic theater to keep France relevant in Africa?
France is broke, and they're expecting their people to work more in order to pay for it. France is drowning in debt, now at a staggering 3.3 trillion euros, with annual interest payments of 60 billion euros. And their solution? Well, the Prime Minister just announced a new austerity plan to bring the deficit down from 5.8 to 3% of GDP by 2029. And the flagship move to do this? Cancelling public holidays, namely Easter Monday, and Victory Day in Europe. Clearly not important, and this should generate roughly 4.2 to 4.5 billion in extra revenue by making people work more. On top of that, they're freezing pensions, cutting healthcare by 5 billion euros, and slashing public sector pay and jobs. Because, taking away holidays, taking away pay, and cutting access to critical services is always a good way to keep French people from rioting. And yes, the backlash has already been intense. Unions say this is a real provocation against workers, and both the left and the right are threatening no confidence votes. And half the country thinks this is an assault on French cultural identity and hard-earned rest, while the bureaucrats in palaces, like those at the Economic, Social and Environmental Council, enjoy $121,000 salaries, 54 days off, lavish perks, while taxpayers foot the bill, roughly 45 million euros per year. So apparently France isn't suffering from a revenue shortage, it's suffering from bureaucratic bloat and a budget built more on perks than on productivity. But what do you think? Is France overdue a reality check, or is this a step too far? French people, I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
This is not the first time France has used debt as a backdoor to power. From the CFA franc to structural adjustment programs, France has long used financial tools to maintain policy influence over African countries.
For Africa, I came to the conclusion that France was the biggest risk to peace and security and overall African development, particularly in West Africa, because of one particular agreement that they would make the African heads of state sign when they were receiving their independence. It was continues to be a horrible document that sadly it has been allowed to continue to this very day, to the serious detriment of the Africans. So I set out to educate the Africans about France. Others would say, why didn't you talk about the British and all other colonizers? Yes, we would speak about them as well. But the one that is leading the pack, the one that is taking the crown of the abuse and exploitation, it is France. And I felt very strongly that if France can come to the table and also renegotiate those contracts, if France can leave Africa, that would be the beginning of true liberation. And I'm talking economic liberation of the African continent.
This US $5.4 billion restructuring deal may seem like a lifeline, but it could also come with future political strings, influencing Ghana's trade decisions, development agenda, and voting patterns in international institutions. Is France helping Ghana rise, or is it making sure Ghana remains within its orbit? Ghana's economy has been under intense pressure: inflation, unemployment, steady depreciation. The French-backed debt deal brings some short-term relief. But relief at what cost? Does Ghana now owe political favor to France in exchange for economic breathing room? Is this a genuine partnership or a transactional alignment that could restrict Ghana's freedom in the years ahead? History shows that when aid and restructuring come from the West, it rarely comes without invisible conditions. Gone are the days when France exerted power through soldiers and weapons. Now, it may be exerting power through spreadsheets and signatures. If France could not control Mali and Burkina Faso with military presence, could it be using Ghana's debt deal as a proof of concept, showing other African countries that it can still be a reliable partner? Is France repackaging neocolonialism into diplomacy, marketing it as support? Is Ghana unknowingly legitimizing France's return to Africa? Share your honest opinions. We encourage respectful dialogue in the comments. This debt deal between Ghana and France, worth US $5.4 billion, is more than just numbers. It is a test of sovereignty, strategy, and the future of African diplomacy. France may claim to be acting in Ghana's best interest, but can a country deep in its own financial crisis be trusted to deliver sustainable help to others? We must ask ourselves, is Africa rebuilding or rebinding itself to the same colonial chains, only now in the language of finance? Thank you for staying with us. We urge you to like this video, share your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribe to AfriPlus News Channel for more deep analysis like this. Your respectful opinions help fuel critical conversations across Africa and the diaspora. Disclaimer: this video is a journalistic analysis based on public sources, expert commentary, and geopolitical history. It is intended for educational purposes and does not promote hate, misinformation, or any political bias. Viewers are encouraged to think critically and engage respectfully in the discussion.